A top story at this hour, the countdown to the annual matric result release is currently on. Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga will announce the national matric pass rate later this evening. Our reporter Sipha Kema is at Vodaworld in Midrand, where the minister is expected to release the results in just a few hours' time. She now joins us live. Sipha, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We've seen the private schools release of results, a slight drop nonetheless, but 98%. Still quite a high benchmark there. Walk us through what the atmosphere is currently at Vodaworld. I mean, you've managed to see educators, students, the works, from the breakfast this morning until, of course, the announcement later today. Just describe that mood for us.
Well, Liesel, what I could tell you is that they're looking very optimistic and hopeful this year, as of course it seems as though they do have every right to be, since that it seems as though the pass rate has been increasing every year, although it might not be as close as it is to the IAB examinations, but the Department of Basic Education is certainly holding their own as well in regards to that. Now, right here where I am is where the minister is expected to make the announcement, Liesel. And not just the announcement, of course, we know we have the top achievers who are here, who actually joined her earlier on this morning to meet the minister. So today, the parents, as well as the top achievers, the top 33 in the country, will also be here to receive their awards, besides the announcement of the results. But now, Liesel, I do have the General Secretary of SADTU, Mugwena Maluleke, just to speak to him about some of the issues and challenges that were facing the department, more especially the teachers. Mr. Maluleke, thank you so much for joining us. Now, of course, we know this has been such an eventful year, 2019, that is, when it comes to teachers, especially the safety of teachers with the school violence. What is SADTU's stance on that, and also what could be done to ensure that this year there's safer schools for teachers?
Yeah, you're right. We have seen a lot of violence in our schools, and our plea to the nation is that we work together, each and every community, each and every person. We take education very seriously. We talk about education and ensure that our schools are safe. We have got a campaign that we are saying to our nation, join us together with all of us to ensure that our learners are not having access to drugs, that our parents in our communities have the right to be part of the school, the right to ensure that their children are safe in the streets in our communities. So indeed, our teachers have worked in a very hostile environment, and we don't want to see that in 2020. Let the decade of 2019 go with all the problems, and then we're looking forward to working together in this particular campaign with the Department of Education, the SAPS, and everyone else in the communities to ensure that our schools are safe.
And now, Mr. Maluleke, of course, the topical issue being sexual relations between students and teachers, and that is something the President touched on the SADTU Congress. Now, what is SADTU doing to address this matter? Because it seems as though it's worsened over the years, with teenagers getting pregnant due to sexual relations with the teachers.
Yes, as an organization, what we have done over the past 2 years was to sign what we call a collective agreement that would afford the learner one chance to be able to give that particular evidence, as compared to what the children had got to go through in the past, where they ended up not giving evidence against this particular culprits or perpetrators who have really been harassing them and sexually assaulting them. So we have done that, and we believe that that is going to ensure that no teacher who involved himself with a learner can bribe any other person, because it's going to be run by a competent, qualified commissioner who is independent of the department, and therefore it will be a situation where you have got to be represented as a teacher, but therefore no chance of you really scaring the learner not to give evidence, and the parents can be assured of the fact that their children are going to be safe. The other thing that we're going to be doing is to train our principals ourselves and train our teachers to ensure that we continue with our code of conduct that says you cannot have a relationship with a school learner. So there are a lot of things that we've got to do as part of this particular campaign of violence, because it's violence. You are violating the right of the child when you engage in sexual relationship with that particular child, because of the relationship you have is a parent relationship and the other one is a learner who is a child. So yes, we are going to embark on that. We abhor that kind of a conduct, and we say it's deprofessionalizing our profession, and we are not going to excuse, we're not going to tolerate, we're not going to condone it. As such, we're very clear. We will stand, and with our learners, we will stand with our communities against these teachers.
And now just briefly, Mr. Maluleke, what should the repercussions be, the consequences for such sexual relationships?
The consequences is very clear. It is stated in the law. You are going to be dismissed if you are found guilty of having a relationship with a school learner. And that's what should be making sense to any other teacher, to then say, do you want to risk your family? Do you want to risk other people who depend on you by engaging in a sexual relationship with a learner where you know very well that you are going to be dismissed? It's a dismissible offense. There's no doubt about it.
Okay, thank you so much. That's Mr. Maluleke from SADU telling us about some, of course, unpacking some of the issues that are affecting the teachers as well as the education system in South Africa, especially the sexual relations between students and teachers. I mean, that has been a topical issue with different scandals coming on from different schools, from private schools, from public schools as well. So that's something that we know that the president had pressed on during the SADU Congress, talking to some of the SADU members as well as the executives, saying that this is something that definitely needs to be looked at. And of course the violence in schools as well, which Mr. Maluleke also touched on, saying that they have a campaign against drugs. It seems as though majority of the students that actually take part in violence in school that actually taking part in recreational drugs or hardcore substances.
Sipha, just in conclusion, has anything been said about the possible tensions that could erupt at universities as the results are released, of course, and students are going to be making their way either for late registrations for the new academic year at tertiary education level?
Well, of course, Liesl, as expected, many have been waiting for these results so that they can actually find out whether they will be going into a tertiary education, going into university rather. And of course, all that matters, it depends on those results, and not just only the passing results. It depends on the symbol that you pass with, as well as the points that you can get so that you can access the degree or the diploma that you're actually looking to further study in. So that is what everyone's here. But what I can tell you is that with the top 33 achievers definitely don't have to worry about that. Some of them, we spoke to them yesterday, some are actually expecting bursaries and scholarships coming their way just by being part of the top 33 in the country.
And then, Sipha, in terms of the psychological support on offer for students, perhaps who didn't do as well as anticipated, I mean, has anything been mentioned in that regard?
Well, the department has actually kind of embarked on a campaign where they've been talking to students in different schools, where they're telling them that, of course, it's not the end of the world should you not pass your matric. There are other options. You can even repeat. I mean, there's also where students are able to go write their supplementary exams, because some of them might not have passed as well as they should have been. Maybe they passed with just a certificate, so they're able to go and rewrite supplementary exams, which are issued in March and in June as well. And also they've got the Second Support Matric program, which supports those matriculants who found it hard to pass certain subjects or even matric.
All right, Sipha, what time is that dinner set to kick off? And in terms of attendance, whom all can we expect to attend tonight?
Well, the minister is expected to take the podium at 6 p.m. this evening. And, of course, some of the partners that are in partnership with the Department of Basic Education, such as, of course, Vodacom, as the event is held at the Vodacom Dome. MTN is also firm. They're also here. We also saw AFBOB's banners up here as some of the sponsors that are here. And of course, the top achievers, MECs from the different provinces will also be here as they're going to find out how their provinces did and also the different districts in each province, how well they passed, or if, of course, some of them didn't do so well this year. They'll also be present. Some of the DGs will also be here. School governing bodies, organizations such as SADU is also expected to be, as you saw Mr. Maluleke, we spoke to him just now. He's one of the officials who will be here on behalf of SADU to hear the matric pass rate as well as the results.